they started naming off numbers that were ejected, and then I heard 79. I was like, all right, I'm in. And, you know, just going in there with those guys, they didn't really have time to freak out. So I just had to go in and start playing right away. And everything happened so fast. And then at the end, I just remember at the end of the game, I just took a second. I was like, wow, like I just went and played the game, and we won. And getting to see my family after for my first real playing time against that game, and I just remember thinking that I earned my first pair of gold pants. So that was really, really exciting. I'll remember that one for the rest of my life.
Do you have to? I mean, this has been there's been some chippy games, and that was obviously one that gave you the opportunity. What's the level that you need to be at where you play to that edge, but don't go over the edge? And do you have to talk to? I mean, you got a lot of young guys that are going to be experienced this. Do you have to talk to them about that? Going into a game like this.
Yeah, definitely. You want to play hard, and you want to be very physical in between the whistles because that's how you win. But you have to know when to cut it off and when not to be over aggressive after the whistle or do something illegal, because that can really hurt you and hurt the team, especially in a game like this. You can't afford any of those penalties. So you want to be aggressive. You want to let them know that it's going to be a physical fight all day. You want to let them know that from play one, but you don't want to do anything to hurt your team. So yeah, we definitely have to tell those guys about that and play smart.
You grew up here. What are your earliest Ohio State-Michigan rivalries memories?
It was like another holiday. I remember that. You have your Thanksgiving Day celebration, and then it was a quick turnaround for another party, another big celebration. Everyone wearing their jerseys. It was always like a fun day at school. Everyone would dress up, and there'd always be that one kid wearing the blue shirt, and everyone give him crap. Yeah, it's just always like another holiday and such a big game. Everyone was very excited for it.
Was it like the Woodson-Boston stuff, or was it the 2006 game? I can never get a grasp on how old you guys are anymore.
Yeah, yep, the 1-2 game. That one will go down in history. And it wasn't just that. It was every Ohio State team up north game was like that, and it always will be.
When you guys won the championship, every game was in a dome in the playoffs. How different? It seems like you could use everything in a dome. Weather's never a factor compared.
It was what? Oh, in a dome?
Yeah, all three of your playoff games were in domes.
Yeah.
How much does it radically change playing in lousy weather?
Yeah, it definitely takes the weather out of it. So like the wind and the cold, the wind can affect kickoffs, passes, field goals, all that. But you still, in unforgiving weather, you still want to be able to operate your offense, and it's tough sometimes, but you have to be able to adjust quickly, and sometimes the game plan that you go in having isn't what happens, and you just have to adjust and do what the weather allows you and do what's working. So
does it kind of play into the whole character of football, the toughness, the adversity, and all that playing in crummy weather?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Everyone wants to play football when it's sunny and 70 out, but when it gets a little cold and windy and snowy, some people curl up in that, or some people thrive in that. And I noticed Saturday when we went out and the snowflakes started falling, we were very excited. I said it was the weather for the wolves. So it's fun playing in that. And yeah, I think it's definitely a testament to the game of football and the toughness aspect of it.
Pat, you were talking about your youth and growing up here with the rivalry. How different is it when you're just a fan and when you're a player in this rivalry? And I mean that in terms of, like, do you have a different type of respect for Michigan as a player than you would when you were a kid and just as a fan?
Yeah, you have a different type of respect for them. Just you respect what they do as a football player and as a team, and you respect the work that everyone puts in to this game. Whereas a fan, it's just, you have your home team that you bleed scarlet and gray, and the other team, and it's a rivalry as a fan. But yeah, it's obviously different from when you're in it and you do it, and this is your life and what you do, and you respect every opponent. But yeah, it's definitely different from players and fans. You have more invested in it as a player, and it definitely makes a difference.
Do you ever think sometimes it almost looks like the fans take losses harder in a rivalry than the players because of the respect?
Yeah, definitely sometimes, and definitely here at Ohio State because our fans are so passionate about us and the game. And if Ohio State loses, it's a really, really, really bad day around the whole state. So, yeah, I love how passionate our fans are, and that's what makes this place so special is our fans, and they're amazing.
It's a big game on the field. But looking back to when you were recruited, a lot of these kids are recruited by both schools at the same time. How much does the recruiting even make it even a bigger rivalry and make it 365 days rather than just this one?
Yeah, I'm sure recruiting definitely plays a role in this, or the game plays a role in recruiting. For me, I was so passionate about this place that the game had no effect on whether I wanted to come here or not. And I'm sure it can for some guys who realize what the rivalry is and want to be part of the winning side of the rivalry. So I'm sure that plays a role in some of their decisions. But I feel like people who are really passionate about Ohio State, and especially people who are from Ohio, want to be on this side of the rivalry.
And then one follow-up. Why is this the biggest game in the nation? You have so many big rivalries, but this one stands up above everybody else. Why is that?
It's the tradition of the game. The former players that have played in it on both sides. I mean, this game dates back to how famous it is a long time ago. People are still talking about games. The Snow Bowl, we talked about that one. Then I think it was 1950. Then they educate us. The coaches will educate us on the game and the rivalry and all the former coaches and players that have played in it. So it's just, and obviously the ranks this year will make it even a bigger one. But I said earlier, it doesn't even matter what the ranks are. This is still the biggest rivalry in the nation. And it's been so much fun to be a part of it for now my 5th year. And I'm excited for these young guys who haven't played in it yet to get to experience that because it's really something special.
Pat, this is a fun one for you. You guys have Michael Jordan on your team. Michigan's wearing these new Michael Jordan uniforms this year.
Huh.
So, fun question. Who do you think has the advantage in this situation?
Between our Michael Jordan and their Michael Jordan, obviously our true freshman Michael Jordan has the advantage. He played pretty good this past game against Michigan State. You watch the film, and he's pancaking people left and right. And I think he took another step in his play this last week and his physicality. And I think our whole offensive line did. I know we didn't blow the team out, but if you watch the film, we were very physical up front, and that's gonna have to be a factor in this coming game Saturday too.
How close are you with Jake Butt?
What's that?
How close are you with Jake Butt?
We're pretty good friends.
Has he texted you, or have you guys talked over the summer? Or?
Oh yeah, he always comes back a few times a year because obviously he's from Pickerington, and we'll always hang out when he comes back. And yeah, we're a good family. I know his parents pretty good.
Is he one of those kids wearing the Michigan gear?
I don't even remember.
Hey Pat, have you thought about what it's going to be like shaking hands with him at captains before the game?
Yeah, we've talked about that. It's going to be really cool. That was one of the first things we talked about when he got elected captain for his team, is that we're going to see each other at the 50 for the coin toss. So that'll be cool for us, be cool for Pickerington back home. And just our families and friends we grew up with. It's pretty cool to see two guys out of the same town make it to be captains on their teams, especially in a rivalry like this. It'll be cool to represent Pickerington.
I mean, what's that like? People take this rivalry so seriously, and you see the M's X'd out and all that, and people won't wear blue, but like you have one of your good friends is on the other side of the rivalry. Like, what's that like to maintain a friendship when, in the public eye, you guys shouldn't be friends?
Yeah, we're friends, and friendship goes. It's bigger than football, but this week it's not. So, and he knows that. I'm sure he feels the exact same way. When it's time to play, it's time to play. But other than that, we're good friends, and we share a lot of the same values and support a lot of the same stuff. And he's a great guy. He's a great player, and it's gonna be fun to play against him for one last time in this rivalry.
Were y'all talk this week? Were y'all communicate this week?
We haven't talked this week yet. We'll probably give a good luck, something see you tomorrow or something like that. But not a lot of talking this week.
Before you got thrown into the Michigan game that year, did you know that you could be a good player here, or did you wonder? Like when you were a young guy like that, do you have a sense of, I can do this?
To an extent, I earned the role as like the sixth man during camp and during the season. So I knew they trusted me to some extent, but I never got to test it against a real live opponent. So I didn't know. Like I had a sense that I could go in and help the team and do my job, but I never knew it could, take off to something that could be a really good football player. I didn't.
Did that tell you it then? Like when you get through that game and do your job, and that was a really good offensive line.
Right.
And you slid right in and didn't miss a beat. Like, did you walk out of that? I'm going to make a great big bold. Did you walk out of that game a different man, Pat Elflien, than you went into that game?
It wasn't just that game. After that game and then the following game, I know we lost, but personally, I played to a higher level. So after that game, I was like, all right, I can do this. I can, not only go in and play, but play well. And then that's when it
Were you stunned
came
about
out a different man.
Were you stunned about what got you into that game at Michigan? I mean, were you stunned about what you saw, or
I mean,
did that kind of get you going? I mean, a little bit. What happened with Marcus?
Yeah, it kind of got me going a little bit. I mean, I wasn't stunned. I know how rugged the rivalry is, and something like that's always able to break out in a game like this. But yeah, I thrived on it, and it got everyone excited and juiced up for that game.
You weren't stunned by what Marcus did?
I mean, everything has happened so fast. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Pat, Billy was very aware of how many quarterbacks Michigan has injured this year. I wonder if you shared that information with the rest of the line.
No, I'm not aware.
It's 5, and one of their defensive linemen said nobody makes it out alive. Just what kind of challenge is that when you hear that?
I mean, I know they're a good defensive line. We've faced good defensive lines this year, and I don't really care about any of that. We're going to do our job, and we're going to run the ball. We're going to protect the quarterback. That's our job. So
you guys always say though that the rivalry is more physical than any other game. I guess my point is, how much more physical can it actually get?
Yeah, there's always an extra edge on this game just because of who we're playing. But I mean, every game in the Big Ten's a rivalry. Not a rivalry, but it's a very physical game. And I mean, it's going to be another one on Saturday.
For Coach Stud, this will be his first game. He's an Ohio guy. I know you play for your teammates, but are you going to feel like you're playing for Coach Stud a little bit on Saturday too?
Oh, definitely. We always feel like that every game, playing for Coach Stud. Just the relationships you build in that unit room, and throughout the year with those guys in there and Coach Stud. I mean, you go through everything together with your unit and your unit leader, your coach. So yeah, we always feel like we're playing for him, and especially this one on Saturday for Senior Day.
But during the season, you can't look ahead to Michigan, but how much do you think about Michigan this game during the offseason?
Yeah, we use it as motivation, and every couple of days during the week, during the off season, we have a countdown until we play that game, and we'll do like a finisher. So say it's 230 days till we play that game. So we'll do 230 reps of a workout. It's push-ups, sit-ups, curls, whatever it is, to signify how many days till we play that team. And so yeah, it's always on our mind.
You spoke about the young players that are going to be in their first Michigan game. How do you keep their nerves down and keep them calm for an environment that's going to be facing you guys this Saturday?
Everyone gets nervous for this game, and we've played in some big games already this year. We've played in a lot of big games this year: Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Nebraska. Almost every game. Our schedule was tough this year, so they've got that experience of playing in big games, and just have to use that to their advantage. Use their experience they've already had, and use those little extra nerves they got to our advantage. And those little extra nerves are just part of the game, part of this game. So it'll be normal and it'll be fun.
Pat, is there a sense of
to get emotional about this game, like as it being your last game at Ohio Stadium, or is it just there's so much on the line that you don't even have time to think about that? It's just prepare for the team.
A little bit of both. I'll probably get a little emotional when we do senior tackle this week on Thursday. That's always a very emotional time, and just from watching it since I was a freshman, all the seniors that leave and give a little talk about their time here and have a coach talk about them, that'll be emotional. But the game, it's locked in. It's time for war. So, after that senior tackle, I'll be focused and locked in on that game and save the emotions for later.
The stakes haven't been this high in 10 years. Do you feel that? Do you feel the weight of the stakes higher than they have been in the past 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, we're playing for it all pretty much, and the stakes are always very high for this game. Everyone knows you can save a season by beating this team no matter what your record is, or I'll talk about that, but definitely the stakes are higher, and we're playing for it all on Saturday.
Pat, is there a sense offensively, take last week's game out with the wind and stuff, I kind of screwed up y'all's passing game, but going into this, is there a sense that you've got kind of a trio there right now with Curtis, JT, and Weber that are really hitting on a lot of cylinders there? And what do you sense? You're blocking for them. What do you sense from the attack right now in that regard?
Yeah, it's great. Those guys are dangerous, and we like to run JT a lot, and we can fake and run with him and throw it to Curtis, or we got a lot of different things in our offense that allow us to utilize all three of those playmakers. And there's other guys too. Our receivers are playing well, they're blocking well, which allows for the whole offense to open up. So as long as we keep doing that, then we'll hit our shots, and we'll keep running the ball like we have been and keep playing Buckeye.
Have you watched any
film yet? Have you watched any film yet?
On Team Up North?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you get
They've
a
been run
sense-
on. What do you think about that? They've been run on the last several games.
Great.
Yeah, we will. We'll have a good game plan. Their D-line, their front seven is pretty good. I'm sure you guys all know that. I haven't, broke it down like that to see why they got ran on. I didn't even know they got ran on. We're just real focused on what we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll have a good game plan together and figure out why that happened, and we'll do what we do.
Pat, there's only been an infusion of one recruiting class into that team that you guys had very little trouble with last year. But I was wondering, can you see or sense a different talent level on that team when you watch the film from what they've done this year based on what you've seen from experience of a year ago?
They've always had great players and good coaches up there. And this year, yeah, I heard they have a lot of seniors, so they're an experienced team. And they're, from my perspective, their defense is they're big, strong guys that play hard, and they're good at what they do. So they're definitely a very talented, and they are a good football team.
How different have you seen from the one that you saw last year?
I don't even remember how they were last year. I know the score, but they were good last year too.
Hey, Pat, I take it your brother's going to be there Saturday?
Yep.
Considering that might have been a question mark 3 years ago, Just what is that going to mean to you?
Oh, it's going to be awesome for him to be there on my senior day. And we talked about it. Today's actually his 3-year sobriety date. So that's very awesome for him. And it's going to be, a good way to celebrate it on Saturday.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, Pat,
Last question here.
As an Ohio guy, you understand the rivalry, but you've got a lot of guys from out of state on this team. Is there an educational process that goes on to get them acquainted with the rivalry and get?
Yep, there is. We get educated on the big history moments of this rivalry, and we've taken quizzes on it. There'll be posters everywhere with facts about the rivalry, and we train for this game all year long. So we definitely have to educate the guys that aren't from Ohio, that don't know about it, and even facts that I didn't know being from here about the game is pretty cool, and it's the history behind this rivalry is very interesting. So yeah, there are educational
Do
sessions.
they really get it until they've been in the game?
You understand the history, but once you're a part of it, then it's something special.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, Matt. Watch that